Hi, I'm attorney Derek Gray of Graystar Legal. We are a criminal law firm located here within Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and this is our FAQ series. So today's question is going to deal with DWIs. Specifically, how long will my license be suspended if I'm convicted of a DWI? So first and foremost, I always like to start with the law itself. This will refer back to North Carolina General Statute 20-19 specifically. So the first question you need to ask yourself is this your first conviction, second conviction, or third conviction? So if this is your first conviction, your suspension period will be for 1 year. Okay, and this will be from the date that you're actually convicted in court till 1 year following that time period. Now, on the bright side, you will likely be eligible for what's called a limited driving privilege. This will allow you to drive during the period of suspension for specific reasons. For example, you'll be able to drive for purposes of work, maintenance of the household, religious purposes, any sort of compliance with the conditions of your DWI. But it's not a regular driver's license. You will typically be able to drive Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. But it really just depends on what your work schedule is like too. There's chances that you can get additional hours, but again, I reiterate, this is not a regular driver's license. So first DWI conviction, 1 year suspension. Now, if you have 2 DWI convictions, or the DWI you're being convicted of is your second conviction within a 3-year time period, you are looking at a 4-year suspension. Now, after 2 years, you'll be eligible for a DMV hearing. You'll have to go before a DMV hearing officer and they'll make a determination as to whether or not they'll allow you to be reinstated for a restricted, it'll be restricted in some form or fashion. Typically, they'll make you do maybe CAM alcohol monitoring, which means continuous alcohol monitoring. It may be a condition that you have an alcohol interlock device on your vehicle. But that's if they grant the motion and allow you to get your license back after the 2-year time period. But that second conviction within 3 years is a 4-year suspension. And lastly, if you've been convicted of 3 DWIs, specifically the most recent conviction occurring within a 5-year time period of the offense date of this new conviction, then you will be put in a state of permanent suspension per the DMV. Now, if you're in a state of permanent suspension, you are eligible for a DMV hearing after 3 years. Again, this is not a guarantee that you're going to get your license reinstated. You'll have to go back before a DMV hearing officer, and they'll be concerned about things such as, have you been driving during the period of suspension? So they'll check your DMV driving history. If you've had improper equipments, if you've had, it shows up that you were involved in an accident. So things that typically wouldn't penalize you will be used as proof or evidence that you've been driving during a period that you're supposed to be suspended, and this will come back to bite you. Further, they'll look at things such as criminal convictions. Have you been convicted of any substance abuse issues or anything like that that would show that you are still using or consuming some illegal substance or alcohol, which is obviously going to be their concern if you were permanently revoked for driving while impaired convictions. Again, if they do allow you to get your license back, this will likely be on a restricted basis or a probationary period. Typically that period, I want to say, is about 3 years. If after that time period you've complied with all of their conditions to their satisfaction, then they can reinstate your license fully. I've seen a number of situations where people will get their license back and then violate in some form or fashion, and they'll re-implement the permanent suspension. But either way, to answer your question, if this is your first DWI conviction, you'll be suspended for a year. Second DWI suspension with the previous DWI occurring within a 3-year time period, you're looking at a 4-year suspension. And if it's your third DWI suspension with the previous DWI occurring within a 5-year time period of this current DWI conviction's date of offense, you're looking at a permanent revocation upon which you'll have to go in front of the DMV in order to be considered for having your license reinstated after a 3-year time period. Guys, I hope that answers your question about DWI suspensions. If you have any further questions or you've been charged with a DWI, please don't try to handle this matter yourself. Reach out to a DWI attorney, reach out to myself. I would love to help you and guide you through this process. Thank you.